where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Welcome to Kitty's Corner. Every weekend is a new journey. Join Auntie Oni as she embarks on thrilling adventures. Each episode takes the young explorers to a different fantastical world filled with exciting challenges, making new friends and learning valuable life lessons. The show begins with lots of excitement in a cozy storytelling mood. Fairies teach the importance of kindness, honesty, bravery, teamwork, or curiosity. Kitty's Corner is a delightful blend of fun, education, and imagination with catchy songs, interactive games, and heartwarming stories. Join Auntie Oni every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. on Voice of the People Television. Kitty's Corner, perfect destination for curious minds.
Hello there, my name is Damilola Ogunsi, also known as the Goldfish.
Hi, my name is Chiki Bright Emmanuel. I'm an actor and a filmmaker.
Hello peeps, my name is Yomi E. Adejimo.
Hi everyone, I'm Paul Utomi.
Hi everyone, my name is Stacey Benjamin and this is Voice of the People TV.
I need you to keep it locked to VOP TV. See, are you looking for good entertainment? You want to get good movies, good music, politics, talk shows, sports and entertainment. You really want a channel that gives you everything you need without you having to run around. VOP is where you are. That's Voice of the People.
If you're not listening to this, you're not one of us. And you deserve to be killed. Scrap chat. Don't be killed, but watch it. Or I'll find you. And I want you.
And you are locked on VOP TV. Don't go nowhere. This is where the juice is. This is where all you need for entertainment, politics, movies, and whatnot.
And keep watching VOP TV.
So keep it locked because I'm locked already, man, and it's money back guarantee. So you're gonna have a good time because I do.
And please keep watching VOP TV.
I won't want to actually, I beg you, subscribe, watch it. If not, whatever you see.
You better not touch that die because VOP is the plot.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me Ovisha Nelson One, your number one celebrity host, and you are watching Voice of the People Television, VOP. Stay tuned.
Uyi Osarate is my name. I am a friend of the microphone, Voice of the People TV. That name is unique, and the brand is very sweet. I like the packaging. Picture qualities, camera qualities, and then of course, the quality of human beings that I see sometimes on your channel. I talk and get paid, and I look forward to being in your studios.
Oh yes, you are on to Voice of the People TV, live here in Benin City, the cradle of black civilization. What are you waiting for? Tune in, bro.
VOP TV. Now, you have more than a voice.
Welcome, guys. The show is Hashtags, and what you just saw was the celebration preceding Governor Sim Fubara's announcement that he has defected from the PDP to the APC. That is breaking the net right now, and the popular song as we stand at the moment is On Your Mandate We Shall Stand. This is where we get to tell you all things trending, all things topical. It is Hashtags right here on VOP TV. I am Vivian Uguche, and I got my co-anchor here.
Hi.
Yeah.
Good evening, guys. I'm Ikechukwu Agwago, and today is a very interesting day. I mean, seeing Fubara smiling the way he's smiling, it says a lot about, the condition that brought him back to the government house in Rivers State. But it's an interesting episode, I must tell you. Guys, brace up, because this plane is definitely going to be interesting. Vivian.
All right, so like Ikechukwu said, it is what just happened is what brought him back. Actually, what preceded his coming back to the government house following his suspension as governor. In his speech, the one you're going to be listening to in a short while, he said that it is because of President Tinubu that he Fubara, is still called His Excellency. And he's saying for that reason, he's going back to where he belongs. Now, Nigerian Journal Affairs, or Nigerian Affairs Journal, I think I got that right, has that story. He was one of the publications that broke the news. Let me take you to X now so you see how netizens are talking about Fubara defecting to the APC. So Nigerian Affairs Journal is the one that is going to give us the post to introduce us to the video of Fubara announcing his defection. Thank you. That's the one. Nigerian Affairs Journal says Governor Sim Fubara announces his defection from PDP to APC, says he has the numbers and the people of Rivers State. But does he really have the numbers and the people of Rivers State? That's a billion-dollar question. Let's take a listen to the governor.
Dear leaders, I know you've been expecting to hear from me, and more especially in this meeting that I had to arrange so urgently. But the meeting is going to end with a very sweet information. You are aware that I went to see Mr. President yesterday, And the reason why I went for that visit is not just a personal visit, but a state interest consultation. I don't want to make any mistake this time around. I wish also not to step on any landmine that anyone is laying for us. So I was with Mr. President yesterday to brief him on the situation of things in our state, which I believe he has taken note and is going to act swiftly on it. But the most interesting part of the meeting is that what you all have been waiting for, what you've been asking me, the signal has finally arrived. We have the full support. We have positive nod to live where we are because we didn't get any protection. To go to where the reason why we are still standing is because of that place. And the truth is, without Mr. President, there won't be any His Excellency Fubara. It would have been former. So we have every reason, because the truth, let nobody be fooled in this state. We have the people, we have the supporters, and we have
the long and short of it is he has defected to the APC. It was quite a lengthy speech, but wanted you to take a listen. He was explaining that the reason why he is not former but still sitting governor is because President Tinubu did what he did. You remember the whole thing about the declaration of a state of emergency and how Fubara, as well as the Attorney General of the Federation, who later came out surprisingly to say that that was what saved Fubara's seat as a democratically elected governor. Now, that raised a lot of controversy, talking about declaring state of emergency and all, the way it was done. But hey, that's not the crux of the matter today. Netizens are reacting to Fubara's defection. And I want for us to take a look at their responses before Ikechukwu jumps on this, yeah? So let's go back to X now so you see how Nigerians are responding to Fubara's defection. Some are saying Tinubu is the GOAT of politics, that he's the greatest of all politicians. That's what they're saying. So let's go to X now so you see how netizens are reacting to that. Okay, so Channels Television is saying, breaking news, Fubara defects to the APC. There's another publication, just so you know this is not a fluke. Nigeria Story says, River State Governor Fubara defects to the APC. Lots of netizens jumped on this post. So let's take a look at their reactions now. The Lannister, gosh, that takes us back to the Game of Thrones, I tell you. But then the Lannister says Tinubu might be the greatest politician in Nigerian history. That man understands this game more than anyone. 2027 is totally locked down. Reality does not care about anyone's emotion. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. And he goes on to say, we will all survive Tinubu as we did Buhari. I come in peace. So Aliu Isa Mohammed says, Tinubu is the GOAT of all politicians in Africa. GOAT being greatest of all time, yeah? It used to be said of Serena Williams that she's the GOAT of tennis. But hey, this time around, Tinubu is the GOAT of politicians in Africa. That's what Aliu Isa Mohammed is saying. Aliu goes on to say, obedient, you guys should also defect and get a ministerial position. Is that a dig at someone? Hey, food for thought. A former says, if Nigerians are foolish enough not to punish these defecting governors by voting them out, then we deserve what we would get come 2027. There is nothing that should make us encourage a single-party state. There is no time or place in history where that has ever worked for good. There are more responses. Let's continue to take a look at them. So I Occupy Nigeria says, on your mandate we shall stand. Rivers State, the well-known APC stronghold since 5 minutes ago. Truly, democracy, they move like NEPA light. One blink, everywhere don't change party. Make we no lie, this defection get the same shock value as person announcing, say, water they wet. After all the drama, all the reconciliation, all the I stand on justice, now APC he enter. Historic, groundbreaking, earth-shattering. Rivers don't officially become APC territory by force of microphone and press release. Next thing now, they go tell us, say, Port Harcourt banter boys always loved APC from birth. Nigeria, no, they disappoint. Clifford Igbo says, bro went for the main power. Now he's the APC leader in his state. Presidency will accord him some level of respect and support to him. Last response for this now. Winko says, there should be a law that once someone is elected into power, they do not have the right to defect to another party. Now, this is Jamin, yeah? Mm-hmm. This is even what Fubara was fighting against earlier on, when he was fighting the lawmakers in his state, who also have defected, most of whom have defected to the APC. So I want for you to focus on that particular one. Also, let's talk about what I Occupy Nigeria said, with lots of sarcasm. He said, so officially now, Rivers State don't become APC state. You know, and then another person now said, now that Fubara is the APC leader in his state, that the presidency will accord him some respect. Does that mean his godfather no longer holds any sway over him and all?
Well, the truth is, let me start from there. He's not going to be the leader of the state politically. Yes, as the governor, we want to say yes, the governor is the leader of the state, but there are a lot of persons behind him, and Fubara does not look like a thorough politician to actually lead the state. So this is obviously part of...
So who's the leader of the state?
I mean, leader of the state in terms of the political party. I'm not talking about the leader in terms of the
political party.
Of course, there are a lot of politicians in the APC.
Let's not...
Wait now.
It is him.
Wait.
Officially, he's the governor, so he's the leader of his state. Is someone who not the leader of his state?
Fine. But the truth is, water is wet, yeah? Fubara is the governor of the state, so you want to say the leader. But he's not a thorough politician, and he's shown it. Because naturally, if he's actually in control of the state, there's no point for him to actually defect. But that's what's already gone now.
He's not the only person that is defecting. Adeleke has officially announced that he's defecting to the Accord party as well.
Of course, not to the APC. We'll look at that later, right?
To Accord, but that's a defection, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, so what are we talking about?
So let's look at Fubara and Rivers State. The truth is, this is not new. If you follow 2023 election, you know that Rivers State has always been APC state. APC won the state. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu won it in presidential election. Yeah, but the gubernatorial election. Yeah, of course.
Which party won?
Of course, that part of the deal.
That's the PDP. The PDP won.
That's part of the deal now. That's part of the deal.
See, yes, we need to clarify, right? So the President Tinubu took it. But gubernatorial, it was the PDP. Now, the South traditionally is known to be a PDP region until things started falling apart. Now, I Occupy Nigeria is saying that, so APC, Rivers now is an APC state, and he was saying like it is unbelievable. So let's just tell it like it is.
In 2015, Rivers State was actually APC state. If you recall that, yes, the governor then, Rotimi Amechi, was part of the APC bloc.
Yeah, but was he not part of the PDP and then the new PDP bloc?
He of course, was part of the APC that brought in the APC in 2015.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So at that point, officially Rivers State was APC.
Okay.
Right. Then Nyesom Wike won it back.
Was Amechi of the PDP and then of the new PDP at some point?
Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying Amechi was part of those who brought in APC.
Okay.
So whatever the structure of the state was at that point was firmly under the APC when he was still governor. Whether you look at it from the lens of...
what? Which party? Under which party?
Under the APC now. That's what he was now. It was supposed to be Tonye Code, Dakuko Peter side was the candidate of the APC. That was Rotimi Amechichi's person.
Okay.
Then Wike was the PDP candidate in 2015. So the APC was the owner of that state in 2015.
It swung
back
from
APC.
the APC to the PDP.
Yes.
All right.
So now in 2023, the APC also won. I'm looking at the presidential position now. The APC also won the states. Bola Ahmed Tinubu won the states in that election, right? And then it was also part of, the deal that, of course, you're going to actually do well for presidential. I want to retain, my state, horse trading, and then we know the rest is now the minister of the FCT. That's exactly what it is. So this is just an official statement, really.
Yeah.
But before now, we've all seen the body language. It's clear that he's actually tilting towards the APC, and it's just a matter of that. I think this just shows that, okay, yes, okay, this is who I am now, and I have no ties with the PDP. You recall, when they did the by-election, the minister I'm talking about the minister of FCT, was saying that he's still very much a PDP member. He won his local government for the PDP. And of course, APC I think APC took about 20 local governments in that state, leaving only about 2 or 3 for the PDP. 3. Right, about 3 for the PDP. So all those signs, when a particular party hold the local government structure, it means they've officially won over the state.
One of the respondents was saying that it is actually not healthy for the country to have a single party state, which is something most people have been saying. But then again, is that what's happening, or is this just like what some netizens are saying, President Tinubu just knows how to do politics?
But the truth is,
we're wrapping this up now.
Yeah, the truth is, whether we like it or not, whether all the governors start moving to the APC or not, when the election comes, right, the people will still decide who wins the votes in those states. Particularly, I cannot speak for other regions too. But when it comes to the South and South, the governors rarely have say, except you want to go the Nyesom Wike side in 2023, where a lot of foreign observers say there was actually no election there. But if it happened that they want to allow the election go as it should, trust me, it's going to be the people that's definitely going to decide who.
All right, fingers crossed. Yeah, we'll see how that particular one pans out. We move on now to the next hashtag, which is airspace violation. So shockingly, news broke that Burkina Faso has detained 11 Nigerian military officers and is also detaining one of NAF's aircrafts, very expensive one. Why? They're saying it's over airspace violation, that the plane violated laws, right? It had no right to be there and all of that. I think this actually is more than what meets the eye. It looks like trouble is brewing here. But hey, not to project, not to do any kind of projection, I will just take you to X now. Sahara Reporters has that particular post, and then netizens are responding. So that's it. Sahara Reporter says, Burkina Faso detains 11 Nigerian military officers, seizes Air Force C-130 after unauthorized airspace entry. But the Nigerian Air Force really is saying their side of the story. There's an explanation that they are giving. They are saying why this happened, which is the next post you're about to take a look at. So credit goes to Platforms Africa, which is also giving credit to the Eagle Online for this reporting. And it says the Nigerian Air Force has offered a reason why its C-130 aircraft landed in Burkina Faso. The Director of Public Relations and Information, NAF, Air Commodore Ehimen Ejondame, offered the explanation in the statement. So the next post is what you're going to be seeing, the explanation now. Shall we? Thank you. Air Commodore Ejondame said the aircraft on its way to Portugal had an emergency that necessitated landing in the country. He explained the Nigerian Air Force, NAF, wishes to clarify reports regarding the diversion of a NAF C-130 aircraft during its ferry mission to Portugal on the 8th of December 2025. Following takeoff from Lagos, the crew observed a technical concern which necessitated a precautionary landing in Bobo Dioulasso, Burkina Faso, the nearest airfield, in accordance with standard safety procedures and international aviation protocols. NAF, and then it goes on to say that NAF crew is safe and have received cordial treatment from the host authorities. And then it says plans are ongoing to resume the mission as scheduled. The Nigerian Air Force appreciates the support received during this period and assures the public that NAF remains professionally committed to strict compliance with operational procedures and safety standards, ensuring the protection of its personnel while fulfilling its constitutional mandate. The source, the Eagle. Now, but the Burkina Faso authority is not even taking it. This is not a tone they are taking. They're very hostile, really. There was a broadcast, but it was done in French, so I can't let you listen to it because you probably won't understand. But this is what some netizens are saying, that it is Emmanuel Macron that has a hand in this and that he's trying to fuel regional conflict between Nigeria and her neighbors, which is something Ikechukwu talked about yesterday. And so that's going to make us revisit the Emmanuel Macron hashtag later on. But there's one more post I'd like for us to take a look at regarding hashtag Air Force or airspace violation, so that we'll wrap up this particular one and then link it up to Emmanuel Macron. So Vintage says 11 Nigerian military personnel are currently being detained in Burkina Faso for violating AES space. You remember the AES?
Yeah.
The Alliance
for Sahel States.
Absolutely. And then Vintage goes on to say that yesterday, Nigeria airstriked Benin on Macron's orders amid a military coup. France is feeling a regional war in Africa. And then he says Tinubu needs to be careful. Do you think this really is the case?
Yes, of course, absolutely. It is. This whole thing we're seeing here is actually an offshoot of, you know, something that happened in Niger, right? And Niger is actually the prime target, but unfortunately, you know, they cannot go there because the senators and politicians from the north will not allow, you know, Nigeria and, you know, Niger go into such
because allegedly they're brothers.
No, it's not allegedly. They've said it often, and that their families, they cannot do it. So now the only way to actually you know, take out Niger or make sure or force Niger into the kind of agreement that they want, which is obviously a pipeline, right? That's going to you know, flow through from Nigeria down to Europe, gas pipeline. And that's exactly what this whole thing is about. The only way they're going to make that happen is to ensure they start dismantling the AES bloc. They take out Burkina Faso, take out Mali, and of course it's going to be easy for that negotiation to come in.
I think you should give context to what you mean by the AES bloc, so that the viewer would know. Is this group of countries
within the Sahel,
who are being ruled by the military right now?
Yes, basically. Not even just, let's not just say by the military, because the reason why they call themselves the AES is because of where they find themselves, in the Sahel region.
But they are mostly ruled by the military.
Yes, they are all ruled by the military.
Who came on board via a military coup.
Yes, absolutely. So they took over and then cut ties. I think that's the best word. The severe ties with the French, you know, they want their own independence and autonomy within the African state. That's
they also cut ties with ECOWAS. Yes,
because ECOWAS is very, very much, you know, controlled by, you know, the colonialists, and many of them have their interests that can definitely decide a decision within the ECOWAS. So they're not cool with it. They have to pull out and now form allegiance with Russia.
This thing you're saying is actually something that's trending online. ECOWAS. People are saying that ECOWAS should not become elitist, supporting the presidents in power at the expense of the people they're supposed to be protecting. I just wanted to bring that up.
Do you know what's happening here? Let me tell you what's happening in the long and short of it. It's the Ukraine and Russia war that we are seeing here in Africa. Now, Russia owns the largest oil gas field in the world, right? And that's about 1,688 cubic, you know, feet. That's what they have in tons, right, in their reserve. Now, Imo State in Africa has about 200 cubic feet. Now, the problem here is Russia supplies Europe, you know, about 70% of its gas across Europe. What they depend on is Russian gas. Now, when the war broke out with Ukraine, the EU bloc wanted to actually sanction Russia, but they know that if Russia cuts their gas, it's going to be quite expensive to buy from America. And that's where the problem is. America has no dog in this fight. But America knows that if Europe stops depending on Russia, it's going to be business for them. Now, Russia understands that, you know what, the only way you guys are going to do it is to actually take that pipe from Imo State down to Europe. And that's why the Niger coup happened. Please, if our producer can bring the map of Africa so you understand the picture I'm trying to paint. You see that is exactly...
I don't know if we have time for all of that, so that this is not gibberish to the viewer who's listening and all of that. But if you're saying this is all about Russia versus Ukraine, how come people are saying it is Macron, president of France? And then how come they're saying President Tinubu is doing his bidding and that he should be worried so that he doesn't go into a regional, you know, conflict?
So right, you know how in chess you have king, you have the king, you have the queen, you have the
And
bishop,
the
you have the
pawn.
pawns.
Yeah.
Right. So in this particular game we are seeing now, it's a game of power. It's a game of political opportunities, and also a game of economic control.
So your point is Macron actually has a hand in this.
So Macron, obviously, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, you look, okay, thank God. I think it was in October. You read the news here where the French government collapsed because French government collapsed, and then the Prime Minister of France resigned, Sébastien Lecornu. Of course, he's been reinstated. He came back. Why did he resign? Because the French government had, 44 billion euros debt, and it was part of, budget was part of the issue. And this happened after the likes of Niger and Cocoa tied, right? So they've been having serious economic issue when these guys, these countries started pulling out. So now they want to come back to start controlling what they have.
So in other words, it's a Game of Thrones.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's tie it back to the hashtag we promised you we're going to bring back today, which is hashtag Emmanuel Macron. So yesterday we told you that the French president had said President Tinubu gave him a call to say, hey, come save us. Help us fight insecurity in Nigeria. So he put up a post. I want you to take a look at it and see how netizens are reacting to it. Shall we do it? We are now doing hashtag Emmanuel Macron. Thank you. Emmanuel Macron says, I spoke with President Tinubu of Nigeria. I conveyed France's solidarity in the face of various security challenges, particularly the terrorist threat in the north. At his request, we will strengthen our partnership with the authorities and our support for the affected populations. We call on all our partners to step up their engagement. Yeah, let's do it again. We call on all our partners to step up their engagement. And he says no one can remain a spectator. Let's take a look at the responses now. So, Ekwano says, you don't really care about Nigeria, Your Excellency. You care about your dwindling sphere of influence in the West African sub-region. We understand your fears and sympathize with you, but we are averse to using Nigeria to fill the widening gaps that you've lost already. We are better off without you, sir. We've had enough of exploitation, both internally and externally. Thank you in advance, sir, but no thanks. The next one. Queen Bee says, France has no business in Nigeria and West Africa at large. France is more of a problem than a solution. Fix your domestic problem first. The next one. So, Ajibusu says, okay, that's the one we saw yesterday. Bia Ogaima, we are, that's funny. And he says, we are good over here, that the Trump already has it covered. So you've known about this insecurity for years and did nothing, but now you want to perform. Take the eye service elsewhere before we report you to Bridget. So the thing some people are actually losing note of is that it was Nigeria who is inviting France. It was President Tinubu who gave a call to President Macron to say, come help us. Just like it was Benin Republic that invited Nigeria to come save the country and, actually save a 35-year-old democracy.
So
that is the crux of the matter, right?
True. Let me tell you, in this sort of games, right, I mentioned something about political opportunities and power and regional control. If France, because everyone in the end will definitely get something, right? France will definitely get back their regional control, and that means well for their economy if it happens. Recall that I was even talking about because this whole picture of Ukraine it's actually a very big thing. Russia had to blow. I don't want to go into all those details. Let me narrow it down to what is happening now in our case. So if it happens that in the end that Russia is France is able to AES back, which is the primary goal, then obviously, of course, it's going to come through an aggression.
And that's most unlikely.
I know. No, if it's going to happen that they'll dismantle it, it's going to come through an aggression.
It's most unlikely that he's going to dismantle it.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If he tries, if it forces, that means AES and ECOWAS will go head on. And if that happens, Nigeria is the big brother. Nigeria will definitely be leading from front, even though our president is not the chairman of ECOWAS as you speak. Now, you know what that means? It means Nigeria is at war. And now the advantage here is there will be no election in 2027. The president will run another 4 years.
And the thing now is they're dragging the National Assembly into it, right? So, ANAS is trending at the moment. People like former presidential spokesperson and currently on-air personality Reuben Abati spoke extensively as to why President Tinubu will give the order for the Nigerian army to invade Benin Republic, of course, at their invitation, without an approval from the National Assembly. So today, the National Assembly gave its approval. And this happened after the invasion had taken place. Is this a matter of the tail wagging the dog or what now? You tell me. Well, so it is hashtag NAS. Let me take you to X now so you see how that particular hashtag is panning out. Shall we? Let's do it. Thank you. Vanguard newspaper says, breaking, Tinubu writes Senate requests to deploy troops to Benin Republic. Actually, this happened today. The Senate President read this out today. And credit goes to NAS TV, like Vanguard newspaper says. That's the National Assembly TV. Take a listen, guys.
President of the Senate, distinguished Senate President, requests for the consent of the Senate for the deployment of Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin for peace mission. Pursuant to Section 5, Subsection 5, Part 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, I seek further to consultation with the National Defense Council, the consent of the Senate for the deployment of Nigerian troops to the Republic of Benin. This request is made further to a request received from the government of Benin Republic for the exceptional and immediate provision of air support by the armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The distinguished Senate may wish to note that the government of the Republic of Benin is currently faced with an attempted unconstitutional seizure of power and disruption and destabilization of democratic institutions. The situation, as reported by the government of Benin, requires urgent external intervention. The distinguished Senate, considering the close ties of brotherhood and friendship which exist between Nigeria and the Republic of Benin, as well as the principles of collective security upheld within ECOWAS, it is our duty to provide the support as requested by the government of the Republic of Benin. While it is my hope that the Senate will consider and approve this request expeditiously, please accept, distinguished Senate President, distinguished senators, the assurances of my highest consideration and personal regards.
So that's the Senate President reading out the lengthy letter from President Tinubu asking for the Senate President's, for the National Assembly's approval for Nigerian troops to help save Benin Republic's democracy. So this is coming on the heels of that article I told you about, put up by Reuben Abati. Let's go back to X now. So you see a post put up by Platforms Africa. Credit goes to that publication. And that's it. Platforms Africa says, Tinubu's Benin Republic expedition by Reuben Abati. Like I told you earlier on, Reuben Abati is former presidential spokesperson and currently on-air personality. Let's take a look at the next post now, where he's putting up a strong objection against what President Tinubu had done prior to what the Senate did today. Reuben Abati says Section 5, subsection 4 of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution says, the president shall not declare a state of war between the Federation and another country except this, with the sanction of a resolution of both houses of the National Assembly sitting in a joint session, and B, except with the prior approval of the Senate. No member of the armed forces of the Federation shall be deployed on combat duty outside Nigeria. Section 5, subsection 5 says the president may, in consultation with the Defense Council, deploy members of the armed forces of the Federation on a limited combat duty outside Nigeria if he is satisfied that the national security is under imminent threat or danger. And if he does that, the president shall, within 7 days, seek the consent of the Senate, and the Senate shall thereafter give or refuse the said consent within 14 days. Section 305, dealing with the procedure for proclamation of state of emergency at Section 305 subsection 2 and Section 305 subsection 3, also stresses the role of the legislature in affirming any proclamation by the president in the face of war or imminent danger. A community reading of these constitutional provisions with the deliberate use of the phrase shall at every turn is to prevent the president of Nigeria becoming a dictator acting unilaterally to ensure the separation of powers, checks and balances, and to the extent that the deployment of troops would involve huge cost, human and material, to ensure accountability. And then he's asking, did President Tinubu consult the Defense Council? Did he engage a joint session of the National Assembly before sending our troops to Benin? Was Nigeria under any imminent danger arising from the situation in Benin Republic?
$1 billion question.
$1 billion question.
But it's unfortunate.
Yeah, but today the National Assembly, the Senate precisely, has given approval.
Well, all you read, it's clear that the president actually acted unilaterally, and it's unfortunate that we have a Senate president that is putting on the president's cap, with his logo. And what do you expect? It means that the president can actually do anything and the Senate will just follow in line. And when you have a state like that, it means, the president now have absolute power. What that means is he can decide the fate of, the country, even when it's, in a very not too good mood. But then I just hope this whole...
Yeah, but can we wait and see how the presidency is going to respond to this? Did he have, maybe he had...
joint meeting?
Well, maybe they had and we didn't know. It could have been without, we are behind closed doors and all. We are waiting for the president to come out and tell us.
I'm just curious, though.
I don't know.
Has it ever happened the weekend before, where our senators sat?
Yeah, but in cases of emergency, well, not really the senators.
That's what I'm saying.
The National Security Council. That was one of the things Abati said, that you can consult with them. If Nigeria is in imminent danger, consult with them first. That's if you don't have the lawmakers sitting. If they give the go-ahead because the country is in imminent danger, and then you can consult
what's
with the
imminent danger here?
That's the thing.
It looks like...
So Ruben Abati asked, was Nigeria facing any kind of imminent danger due to what was happening in its very close neighbor, Benin Republic? Do you think?
I just think maybe I don't see anything like that, but maybe because there's been a rumor of coup flying here, so the president.
It's like a pandemic.
Yeah, it's more like a PTSD thing, so isn't actually going to welcome any news close by of such thing. Maybe that's exactly why he actually acted. But the big question is, did he really act appropriately? Because that's what we should be concerned about. Because if this is actually not checked, it's definitely going to, the president is definitely going to take certain steps that is going to really endanger Nigerians, and it's not going to.
But doesn't this remind you of what happened when the president declared a state of emergency in Rivers State?
That's what I was
there were
saying.
So many questions. Did he do it appropriately? Was the National Assembly consulted? Eventually, the National Assembly gave an approval after the deed had been done.
That's what I'm saying. That the first one happened, nothing was done. The National Assembly didn't do anything. They didn't call the president. They didn't, put pressure on him to actually make him understand that this is a democracy. You can't act unilaterally, and that's exactly why we are saying this. The next one is going to be bigger than this if something is not done.
Yeah, but the thing now is, I think one of the questions we'll be asking is, so if the president acted unilaterally, what should the Senate do at this point? Or what should the National Assembly do? But then again, the National Assembly has come out to say that, hey, they don't see anything, based on them giving the approval, apparently they don't see anything wrong with what the president
So let's say the case was the president didn't actually act. Of course, it's obvious he didn't. There was no joint session. Now the question is, perhaps maybe there was a National Security Council meeting that we might not be privy
That's what
to.
I'm thinking.
But let's say, for the sake of this conversation, to actually look at the constitutional provision that also did not happen. The president just did what he did because he's the president. This is a ground for impeachment. Because he violated the constitution, it's a ground for impeachment. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But then, the National Assembly that we have...
So we don't know for sure if this is a total violation of the Constitution.
No, if that didn't happen.
So many questions you asked.
Yeah.
If, you know.
Yeah, if that didn't happen.
Yeah, well, if he did not consult with the National Security Council and he did this unilaterally, then it will be an impeachable offense. But then the Senate has gone on to give their approval. So, hey, we'll see how netizens continue to react to this one and how this hashtag continues to pan out. So there was one hashtag we did yesterday. It was about the First Lady, you know, bagging a chieftaincy title in Osun State. Today, again, the hashtag is making a comeback. It has refused to die. But this time around, it is hashtag Dele Momodu. Dele Momodu was the one that actually brought this whole thing, or one of the people that brought this whole thing back to life or refused to let it lie. Dele Momodu is the publisher of Ovation magazine. And from the tone of his post, it seems like he's a relative of the First Lady. Why don't I take you to X so you take a look at, you know, that particular post. So this is Dele Momodu, Ovation. And he says, why you can't blame Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu. Now, don't let that title mislead you. Yeah? He goes on to say, a member of the Ovation Media Group team called me from Ile-Ife last night. Frantically, I could feel him almost panting. Quote, sir, your sister has done it again, end of quote. He said matter-of-factly. Who is my sister and what has she done again? Quote, that's Dele Momodu asking now. Ha, that's another quote. The First Lady, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, insulted Governor Adeleke today in public, end of quote. And then Dele Momodu responding, why and how? I asked, almost rhetorically, knowing what my sister was capable of doing when angry. I was once a victim, shortly before the family attained full-blown power. Please, let me digress a little. We had met at the funeral of Chief Mrs. Kemi Nelson inside the holy sanctuary of the Archbishop Vining Memorial Church in Ikeja, GRA, Lagos. The next one. This is a continuation of this post. And he said, this is Dele now saying, good morning, ma, to Mrs. Tinubu. He said, I said most respectfully, standing by where Dr. Femi and Senator Tokunbo Abiru, suddenly there was an explosion, totally unprovoked. Mrs. Tinubu went like, quote, Bob D, you mean you won't campaign for my husband? I wasted no time in responding. I can't, ma, I'm in a different party. Her Excellency was livid. She said things that were not factual, but out of respect for Uncle Bola, I let it slip. One, this latest tirade against an elected governor was totally beneath her for several reasons. She's not an elected officer of government and has no role assigned to her in the Constitution of the Federal Republic. It is totally repugnant to openly disgrace, insult, and bully the chief executive of Osun State before a global audience, including his own wife. She went too far. Two, it is unbelievable that a self-professed pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God will frown at a governor praising God. Her church should be very embarrassed. Three, would she have tried this with a northern governor reacting or reciting the Holy Quran before a speech? There's a concluding part of this post. It looks like Ikechukwu can't contain himself. But let's continue to take a look at it. So this is the concluding part. 4, why does she think her family owns Nigeria and can publicly go on rampage as she wishes? 5, many commentators have said she was lucky that Governor Ademola Adeleke is a perfect gentleman. And then he ends by saying, but I can't really blame Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu. I blame the squeamish Nigerians who chose to be voluntary slaves in their own country. Shame on the cowardly people who have sold their inalienable rights for power. Before you take a look at the next post, which was put up by Senator Tinubu, let's take a look at the video again, this time put up by Ovation magazine. So there was actually an exchange. Today's video is clearer than what we saw yesterday. I know there was actually repeatedly an exchange. I know, but people are saying, okay, Dele Momodu said, people are saying the First Lady is lucky that Governor Adeleke is a perfect gentleman. But see the post that Senator Oluremi Tinubu put up today. You'll be shocked. It looks like water under the bridge. Let's go to the next post now under hashtag Dele Momodu. Now she is congratulating Mrs. Adeleke on her birthday, right? Let's take a look at it. Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, she put up this post today. She said, I join your husband, the governor of Osun State, His Excellency Senator Ademola Adeleke, your children, family, friends, and loved ones to celebrate you as you mark this milestone of 60 years. I celebrate your commitment to uplifting the good people of Osun State through the Renewed Hope Initiative, where you continue to touch many lives. This is the concluding part of this post. Let's take a look at it. That one has the picture of Mrs. Adeleke. Very beautiful. And then Mrs. Tinubu, or Senator Oluremi Tinubu, goes on to say, I pray this special day is filled with joy, love, and cherished moments. May you celebrate many more years in divine health, peace, joy, and happiness. Well, we say amen to that. And then she goes on to say, happy 60th birthday, Your Excellency Titi Lola Adeleke. And then she signed it, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And that's the beautiful picture there of Mrs. Adeleke, the First Lady of Osun State. It's a Diamond Jubilee. Whoa, happy birthday to Her Excellency. So that's how this one is playing out. Yeah, Ikechukwu. The things Dele Momodu said, though.
Wait. Nigeria is such a very peculiar case, you know. Yesterday, someone actually also alluded to this as, you know, happened before under the Jonathan regime, and now we are seeing the repeat of it.
Yeah,
you know,
he talked about what happened in Rivers State between Amechi and
that was in 2010 actually, where you know, Dame actually took the microphone from sitting governor. You know,
Dame was actually at this event, this particular event.
She took it, and you know, it was in Okrika. He was actually trying to the governor was trying to commission a project there, and she's from Okrika, and that particular place is a place.
You know, you need to wrap this up because I want.
But straight to the Oluremi thing, right? I don't think it's actually fair on the governor. But I mean,
he said this yesterday.
Yeah.
Now this is going. This thing, it looks like it's going to continue to keep tongues wagging online. We might revisit it again. So just hold your thoughts here. I want us finally to take a look at hashtag Chef Dami. Just quickly, let's take a look at it. Chef Dami was someone who suffered cyberbullying. I think I have like 30 seconds. I still have a minute to do this. So can we do this? Thank you. It is 1 more minute for me. So Chef Dami really was bullied when she tried to win the Guinness records of being, you know, someone who cooked.
Yeah,
longest cooking cookathon,
yeah,
whatever it's called. Yeah, but she was bullied, and she said she suffered depression.
She wanted to do it right after Hidabase.
Yeah, absolutely. So today she's trending online because she has officially become a chef, and Nigerians are saying that they're happy she did not let cyberbullying, you know, put a wrench in her heart desires. That she did it, and they're congratulating her, right? So basically, that's it. She's officially a chef. I don't think Linda Bashi is officially a chef, though.
No, I think she is. I mean,
she cooks, but she's not a chef. Dami just graduated from the school.
Well,
so she's officially
well, maybe I have to check that. But
you need to check it out.
But congratulations to her, and I would have really loved that she actually went through this route before, you know, trying to push for the Guinness